Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk Game of Thrones and we do it over breakfast because that's what our forefathers did. It's what our sons will do after us when we're dead and in the grave. I'm talking, of course, our family. Blood of our blood. The title of today's episode. Season 6, Episode 6, Blood of My Blood, and Maple Walnut. Welcome to a Monday. Welcome to my lovely friends, Hans and Jeremy. Hans, why don't you say a few words?
Put me on the spot. I wasn't
ready.
Fantastic.
Jeremy, how about we get a few words?
I wasn't ready to talk on this podcast.
Like, that's not every day.
Well, perfect. Now you've been royally and regularly introduced. I think there probably is some discrepancy as to who is who sometimes. I really don't think it matters. I do think that what truly matters is the fact that we come together each and every day here against all odds to talk about Game of Thrones, to talk about scones, and in the former half of that today, we've got Season 6, Episode 6. Do you guys want a little reminder as to what goes on? I know it's been a long weekend for you.
I do.
Yeah, for sure.
I have the plot here, the PLOT, and I can give it to you however you would like it. Well, that's not true, but I can try.
I'm so excited for my suggestion today.
Hit it.
Oh, you...
I would because I just saw a random Geico commercial, I would like it in Spanish soap opera voice.
Haven't we done this?
I think we did this already.
Because I could only do it in French.
Did we? I don't remember a Spanish soap opera voice.
Yeah, I think we did it.
We definitely did this.
Oh, really?
You don't remember it because it was not done well.
Okay.
But I think it was attempted.
Okay, all right. Never mind then. Never mind. Well, Hans, you fucker, you go then.
Hey, now. You don't need the hostility.
I don't have one today.
Okay.
Maybe we just... Tony, do you have any ideas? Any ones you actually like to do?
Tyrion? Did we do Tyrion yet?
Tyrion doesn't... Yeah, I think I tried, but he doesn't really have much of a voice. Here, okay, I'll try... I've not had a great track record with Game of Thrones characters, so I tell you what, I'll give you one, and you see if you can tell me who it is.
Okay, perfect.
Even better.
Hold on, I'm gonna mute my mic so I can practice.
In a world. Is he actually saying the person over and over?
I don't know.
I just want to know what he's saying. He's like, with it?
For you listeners, the suspense.
God, this is God. It's not good. I couldn't come up with it at all, but I'm still gonna try.
Go for it.
All right.
If we guess it, it's a victory.
Yeah, it's a big old V. All right. I'm gonna try not even to incorporate any of their lines from the show, so that it doesn't give you an easy out. You just got to go on vocal quality alone. An old foe comes back into the picture. Gilly meets Sam's family. Arya faces a difficult choice. Jaime faces off against the High Sparrow. It wasn't good.
Okay. Fuck.
Can I get like that last line repeated?
You have no idea. Jaime faces off against the High Sparrow.
Now, see, that sounded completely different to me. That's what's horrible.
I think it was a little closer, to be fair.
Oh, well, that's good.
But it's because I started with a line from the show, like I said I wasn't going to do. But I kept it vague enough. I don't think you could get it from that.
Yeah, I know.
I will say, let's see. Actually, I don't have any notes about this person in this episode, so I'm not sure if we see them or not.
Is he living or dead?
He's living.
Okay.
He's living, and he's a he.
Yo, I got a he.
Yeah. Good. Okay, that's half the battle.
The second time, I was like, it sounded like John.
Oh. No.
But then I'm like, it's not John, because I would know you'd be much more sullen the entire time.
My loyalties are not in question.
Jorah.
Oh, God. It's getting so far away. You can never know how much I loved you.
Jorah.
It's not Jorah.
How much I loved
Come
you.
on, give me the. I would have given it a good Khaleesi. Would have tried a little harder there.
How much?
It's here. If I give you some quotes, can
Go.
we?
Yeah.
Can we get
the quotes?
There's only one woman I've ever loved. Your sister.
Oh, really, Robert?
No.
Oh, Baelish? Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't say really. Come on.
No,
I thought
thinking
creepy
Robert,
whispery voice alone would have had it, even though the voice was off.
But now that I hear it, now that I've said Baelish, I'm like, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, now it does make more sense.
Yeah.
I love you, Sansa. I have always. You're more beautiful than she's ever been. I love you.
Yeah, the whisper.
You just need that creepy voice
I'm
with
sorry.
the creepy facial expressions.
Oh, well, my Peter Baelish ain't no good. But what about this episode? Is it ain't no good, or is it doing okay? What are you guys thinking?
It's not ain't no good.
It's not ain't no good. Okay. On a scale of my terrible Peter Baelish impression, up to say, what's one I've even been moderately good at? There's not
Keith
one.
Evan.
Up to my flawless Australian accent.
Keith Evan.
Where would you rank season 6, episode 6?
I'd probably throw it around your Schwarzenegger.
Okay, hey, I'd say that's top 5.
You thought it was that good? I'm interested to see why. Because
No, not the episode. My Schwarzenegger.
Oh no! I mean the episode. I'm like, yeah.
Now, are you talking about my Schwarzenegger or my Hound, which I think was exactly the same?
Or your
But far
Irishman that
different.
becomes Scottish.
It's the same continent. Give me a break. Yeah, I thought that this was a very waxing and waning episode. It has a couple pretty good moments, a couple weird ones. Jeremy, it sounds like you're not sold.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this was a lot of story, not a lot of action, which is okay. It just we spend too much time in King's Landing for my personal taste. So
We are there a lot.
Yeah. And I know they're
get-
moving a lot of that story forward, which is what they haven't been focused as much on. But it was my least favorite kind of sections in the show.
Yeah. We basically get an entire invasion of the city.
Yeah.
An army converging on the Great Sept of Baelor to try and stop Marjorie's Walk of Atonement, which is then halted for completely different reasons. And it does not go ahead. But hey, look, Tommen's played everyone. And himself, very confused as to what's happening here. Because either he is going around people and trying to make these cunning moves, because before this, every time the High Sparrow would come to him with anything, he would kind of like low-key tell his mom. Like the fact that they knew about Marjorie's Walk of Atonement in the first place was because Tommen's like, he's saying this, he's confiding in his mom because he knows this is dangerous territory. So the fact that he would go ahead and make these decisions leads me to think that there is something in Tommen that is now going against his mom and his own self-interest, or that he just really misses getting laid.
Yeah.
I just think, like, if you're marching an army towards King's Landing, how doesn't Tommen go to them and be like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm not trying to undercut the family, but I've already talked to my boy, the Sparrow, and I've been like, hey, we're cool, we're good. Because I feel like it undermines Jaime so much that it's like, it's so confusing. Like, it doesn't make sense that would be the role that he would take.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I mean, that's playing into the High Sparrow's hand, as we see later in the episode. Like, that ultimately goes to their benefit, getting Jaime removed from the Kingsguard completely.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that was certainly part of it. The fact that they allowed it to go this far was like and now basically Loras looks more guilty, Cersei looks more guilty. Like the fact that their trials can continue after this, knowing what we know from the next couple episodes as well, the revelations that get dropped. It's like everything is coming up Sparrow.
And actually, I think this is while it makes Jamie look ill-prepared and weak, it's the best thing for Jamie, right? It gets him out of a situation that he doesn't necessarily want or need to be in anymore. The King's Guard is kind of something that's irrelevant at this point for him.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What did you think about Mace Tyrell's sweet plume? His lovely little hat feather. I mean,
what? So what? You had mentioned this like seasons ago. What makes Tyrell so just dislikable?
Yeah, I don't know. He's just Ophi. He's kind of an idiot.
He doesn't do anything like overtly offensive or anything that just would make you hate him. But it's just like, I hate him.
He's like that. He's like the dad at the sleepover. Maybe even the stepdad at the sleepover.
Stepdad.
He just comes around and he tries to kind of relate, and it makes you cringe. And you're like, hey, I kind of respect that you're putting food on the table, but like, I hate you so much.
But you ate my dad.
Yeah. You're not my real Tyrell. And I've just, he's not any. I mean, we don't get a ton of Mace Tyrell in the books, to my knowledge. I don't think he's as cringy, but he's certainly not a likable character either.
No. What were some positives in this, Hans? Because I'm interested. So, I mean, I'm interested to see what you think was good in this one.
Yeah, I think there was a couple good parts. I think overall the episode was a little slower, a little weaker, but there was parts I did really like. I just pretty much like any scene with like any of the play kind of storyline. I really liked that.
Hell yeah.
Arya, one of my favorite of Arya's kind of story arcs. I think all that stuff is really good. Love that Arya, you start to see the transition where Arya's decided to stay as Arya. She goes and gets Needle. She kind of definitively makes that choice that she's not going to be a faceless person, I guess, in this one. I think one of my other favorite parts of this is we get Uncle Benjen back, which is like
Benjen!
One of those ridiculous happened last time on Game of Thrones, where it's like all of a sudden Uncle Benjen starts like popping back up. Yeah, so I think what's funny about him too is he hasn't been around since like season 1, season 2 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
It's been a long
Season 1.
time. So that was a deep cut when he comes back. And then I thought the entire scene, which was kind of cringeworthy, but almost in a good way, in like a story building way and character building, is I actually liked the Tarly dinner scene and all of that. The whole scene at what is their home place?
Hornhill.
Yeah, I thought that was good, and we could
Which
see.
is gorgeous, by the way.
Huge too. I was
Huge.
not expecting that. And then and we get to see another Valyrian steel weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Heartsbane.
Not to be confused with Heart Eater, one of Joffrey's poorly named swords. This is Heartsbane, baby. Yeah, I love the Hornhill stuff. Sam's family, very dysfunctional. His dad is just an asshole. Like just an absolute asshole. What did you think about Sam's decision to run off? Did you buy it? You like it?
I think it fits his character in the sense of that he's doing it in a way I think that he feels like he's going to be most useful, even though he's been, on the watch, right? He's never been a soldier. So like this makes sense for him if he's ever going to contribute, right? So I think it's interesting to see him with the family, and how like the father is just ungodly, such a bastard in that scene, right? Of like, the boy can stay here, we'll essentially raise him to be a better man than you'll ever be, and I'll keep your whore with me to work in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I love that he's like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Like, I'm going to go do my shit.
I buy Sam leaving. I buy Sam taking Gilly and a little Sam. But I don't really buy him taking the sword. If only because we've already seen how just being around his father for a second can regress him so hard to being like this quiet, shy, like just super weird and awkward kid. And he would know that his father has no qualms about hurting him or killing him or anything. And that at this point, Valyrian steel swords, they even go to the length to make it known at dinner, are a hugely rare thing that that are not to be trifled with. And if your family has one, your family must be the shit. And so I think that there would be more backlash from that.
I don't remember much in the books about his brother, Dickon, if that's even mentioned to the point. Do you remember that at all?
Well, I don't think we ever... Well, so we obviously never go to Horn Hill.
Right, but do they talk about his family?
I know they mention Randall just because he was involved in Robert's Rebellion.
Right.
But I, to my knowledge, and again, it's been several years now since I've cracked the books, but I don't remember much about Dickon.
Yeah, I don't either, because the only reason I was thinking when I was watching that scene is when he took that sword, it's like, why would he take that away from his family? He has nothing against, it sounds like, his sister or his brother, and that's part of their heritage as well. So that I would agree that seems weird to take that. Yeah.
I actually think that in the books, his brother is like almost played out to be this like alcoholic kind of guy, who's like obsessed with fermented juice and stuff. Like he's got to get that Dickon cider, you know. He's got to get that Dickon cider, and.
That's
speaking of bad jokes, I'm pretty sure I still don't know I still don't know how it must have been so hard. I think the reason this one especially is so rare, like Heartsbane, and how it surprisingly looks really nice for the fact that we know it was forged in the dark.
Yes. It would have been, what a better scene it would have been though. Like everyone's awkwardly eating dinner, and Sam's like, "Oh, this venison's great. Did you kill it today?" And Dickon Cider's like, "Oh no, not you stupid. Like, no, that's not how it works. Silly." And "Oh, Sam, would you like more bread?" And he's like, "Oh, yes, please." "Haven't you had enough bread? Don't you think you're fat enough?" I don't know why I think Bane would also be like the best like Food Network judge. Don't you think? Like you just need to get some more from him. Like, this risotto.
Although he has to have everything blended and just like because like how is he gonna get past that mask?
Right in that right in there. Can you take the mask off?
I don't think so. I thought the whole point was that, like, I think you could probably take it off for a short period of time, but I thought the whole point of the mask is that it was, like, keeping him alive or something.
Yeah, see, I don't remember that, because I know that he has all those infused, lines for when he gets pumped up or whatever, but I don't remember the mask.
Not in the Dark Knight trilogy, though.
No, I know, but
just
like,
generally,
in general, yeah.
When he's also not a weird British aristocrat robot.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in the
how we got there.
Dark Knight Rising.
Did you see that they're re-releasing the trilogy at 5 IMAXs? I guess.
Oh, okay. I thought that was going to go somewhere else for a minute.
For a select view.
Nice.
Yeah. I honestly, I just feel like DC has to almost do what Marvel did in the sense of like. Stop just hitting your biggest characters and like start investigating some of your other characters and just do different cool stuff, which I think they are trying to kind of do, but then again they're still trying to do this weird universe thing, so we'll see.
Yeah. I would like to see a Flash movie. I really would. I think I would enjoy that.
It's another one. They're just hard to do. That those type of things. They need more like humanized characters.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's a character thing. I think, again, it's just you got to approach it from the sense that, like, okay, we're going to tell this movie, we're just going to see how it goes, blah, 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 blah. From the Flash thing, like, would you do it with Ezra Miller or you want a new Flash?
I have nothing against Ezra Miller, but I want to get out. I don't want the universe that they tried to build.
Yeah.
I would rather have something totally different. But
especially now that we know Superman is British and my life is a lie.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I would absolutely love a live-action Flash movie.
Who would you like to cast as the Flash?
Oh, see, I want a little more like dark, like pissed off at the world Flash, right?
Really?
Yeah, I do. I just feel
I
like
feel like you always want a dark
I do.
stuff at the
do.
world superhero movie.
Okay, Wolverine, fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
right?
Wolverine is
Dark Knight series, fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. The only reason why it was even better was because it was shot in a very dark war movie. Great, right? So where's the negative right now?
But I think it's got to be true to the characters. Like the best Thor movie is the not dark Thor movie, and again, personal preference here, but I feel very strongly that the best Spider-Man movie is the most recent Spider-Man, which is like played into the quirkiness of the character and just kind of allowed it to exist. I think it's got to feel right, and I know Hans is a huge Flash fan,
big Flash,
but I'm not well versed in the guy, but I think he's usually more of a lighthearted presence.
For sure. Well, it just depends. Because I think they do. I think they nail it with the TV show for the most part. Like I think the TV show is great. The TV show. The only thing the TV show suffers from is just the fact that it's a TV show and has way too many episodes. If they trimmed it down and just focused on small, like more concise storytelling and not trying to just add a bunch of filler, it'd be excellent. I think the actor's fine, but I do tend to like the more quirky kind of fun Flash. Not to say that there aren't, because the Flash, again, unlike some of our other superheroes, Flash is a bunch of different Flashes, right? Barry Allen, Wally West. There's a bunch of them. But I would like to answer your question. My ideal in a perfect world, Michael Rosenbaum would hit the gym, get buff, get fit,
ripped,
and get into that live action Flash movie. Michael Rosenbaum, of course, the voice of the animated Flash in Justice League.
Thank you for helping that.
Yeah.
Who would be old at this point?
Yeah.
He could still pull it off.
So my favorite... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, so I really feel like right now, if you look at the success of Marvel and DC movies in the theater, there are the dark series approaches, and then there is the strong comedy. I don't feel like... I feel like the Flash would be... It would be funny, but would I take it seriously as a movie? I mean, Spider-Man has always been, to me, I totally agree with you. The most recent Spider-Man stuff has been interesting. The Aquaman is where I think... What did you think of that movie, Tony? You saw it, right? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I liked watching it. I would not classify it as like a great superhero movie, but it was enjoyable. It was fine.
Right. And do you think it was better because of the tone of the war and everything, how it was kind of that, versus being more of a comic-y, kind of... I mean, I've never read much Aquaman, so I really wouldn't know how to put him...
I think from a tone perspective, my least favorite part of that whole movie was that they seemed to go back and forth with no real direction. So exactly. I really think had they chosen either side, I would have been a little bit more happy with it.
Yeah. And that's where I think like it'll be interesting because let's just briefly talk about the not the Avengers. Oh shit, what's it called? The Justice League. Did comedy make that better?
I just think. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was any saving it after the mustache incident.
I really don't think that was the fall from grace of that movie.
That was it.
It's fun to pick on, but like what? My problem with Justice League, like I think one of my favorite moments in the whole film, and it definitely had like it wasn't a joke, but it had this like lighthearted thing to it, is when they're fighting Superman when they bring him back.
Yeah.
And the Flash goes to go around him, and he just looks at him. And the Flash is like, "What the fuck?" That's like my favorite part of the movie, and. You kind of had to have the lighthearted appeal to do that.
I didn't mind that those little moments in that movie. I don't remember specific moments. It's been a while since I've seen it. I think the main issues with that movie is, first of all, Steppenwolf is just not a great enemy, and then second of all, I think they were doing this movie on the sole premise of making tons of movies. So they chose an enemy that's kind of like not that good because I'm assuming they planned on they did the same thing with Thanos with Darkseid, where they just like kind of tried to like throw Darkseid out there that he's the real villain. Yeah. But like you can't, I don't know, it's just not, you have to like focus on the movie you're making now, in my opinion.
Exactly.
And first, the other problem with Steppenwolf is like what a shitty CG. Like, it was a character that didn't need to be CGI'd, that they CGI'd.
And the only, as far as trying to throw nods to characters and stuff like this, again, it's not going to make or break the movie. I think it can break it. But like Marvel's done it the way of when they bring in these characters that no one knows about or cares about, Ant-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Iron Man. Not that they're unknown characters, but you wouldn't necessarily plug them out to be your A-tier superstars back in the day. What they're doing is Easter eggs. They're not doing things that you have to go look up in order for it to make sense.
Right.
And that's the nods. And then they build off that and they make them bigger and then they draw you into the universe. Whereas like the dark side connections in Justice League, I don't know much about it. I had to like frantically go, oh, okay, now that whole scene kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like it rested on it so hard, and I just didn't.
I think they were kind of all over the place with like what they had maybe originally planned to do, and then what they were actually going to do, and then what they're now going to do, because like they seeded some of these things in Batman vs Superman, especially in that one like scene, right, where they did like the weird flash forward thing with the dream sequence where Batman's chained up, I think, or something. Superman, I can't remember.
Yes,
but nonetheless. Yeah. That whole thing where then you go outside, it's a big dark side symbol, and then you get some weird like Flash yelling at you through some time warp thing or something and it's just like, then Justice League like didn't really have any of that. I don't know. It was I don't think they ended up going the way. I think it's clear that they didn't go the way they wanted to.
So we get to meet Benjamin Stark again in this episode of Game of Thrones, who I think is pretty obviously mirroring a character that we see in the books called Cold Hands.
Yeah.
The interesting point being is that it's been a theory that the Cold Hands is Benjamin Stark for years, and I did not look it up to verify, but I think we have it on record from George R.R. Martin that says he's not. So let me look at that real quick. I'm going to see if I can find it. But I always thought that he was. I thought it was a pretty obvious thing, and then when I found an interview, it's like, oh, no, it's not. It threw me. George R.R. Martin has confirmed that Cold Hands is not Benjamin Stark. Straight up. But it's basically the same character. It's this mysterious undead guy. He's around for longer in the books. But as far as I'm aware, it's relatively the same type of thing. I think he helps them get up to the Three-Eyed Raven, not back.
Okay.
Because we haven't left there, obviously, yet, but still. Very, very similar.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of convenient that Benjen was it. It's one of those things where it's like the odds of it being like the one character we know that had this happen to him, pretty slim, right? But I thought it was cool in the show.
Yes. It was fun. I forget, he's alive at this point. We'll see him again. You do wonder, like, how this guy can be killed. I assume it's just the Dragonglass way as well, so technically these whites can't do anything to him. Maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. But those were. I had one more note from the episode, and all it was Danny makes another cool speech.
Yeah. So I have things to say about Danny's speech. Okay. So what was it? Just like maybe an episode or two ago, she burns down this. Like she burns down all the cows or whatever.
Yeah.
And
here's my note about it. Season 6, episode 4. So 2 back. Danny wins over the Dothraki with flaming boobs.
Yeah, flaming boobs.
Flaming boobs.
Absolute spectacle, right? Where she just like burns this whole thing down. She walks through the flames all badass. Naked, of course. And then
Spectacalisi, I believe you meant.
Spectacalisi. And then so now she does that. This is not much longer, right? She walks through. Now she shows up to these Dothraki dudes on a freaking dragon, lands it, and then just makes this, crazy speech. My only concern here is she's not leaving much here for this audience, right? I mean, like she's burning all her moves, right off the bat. Where's she going to go from here? Does the magician start with the cutting the chick in half trick? I don't think so. You start with like a little card trick or something. Work your way up to it. These people are going to get bored. I don't know. I think she's got to take some lessons in showmanship.
Also, she's on top of a dragon. Unnecessary. Could have just brought the dragon around.
Yeah.
On top of a dragon, competing with the growls of said dragon. I have the volume cranked up to 50 and I can barely hear her. I guarantee you 3 rows back, nobody can hear a word. And you've got like 10,000 people in this massive, like, I don't know, 10-person wide line going back a mile.
Can you imagine that telephone game? What did you hear? She like the chicken.
Yeah, so did she just like, did she go animatronic and she just kept like looping the speech, and every time somebody would recognize something, they'd move forward about 45 feet so the next group of people could hear it? I don't know, but yeah, a little rough there. Maybe she's got more of a PA system than I understand. I don't know how Danny's magic works. Maybe that's the real magic trick. That's why everyone's so impressed. They're like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that would just the vocalization would be impressive. It would have been funny though. I agree. After that huge, long, ridiculous speech, then it just pans down to the audience and you just hear one guy go, "What?"
It was cool, I guess. Again, yeah. Had it not come so close to one of her other, because Danny has 2 kinds of cool moments: the like badass, burn everybody, I am a dominatrix, conqueror, and then like, oh no, I inspire the hearts and minds of people, speeches. And they're both good, and they repeat a lot, but they usually have their own unique flair. But yeah, this coming so quick just kind of felt a little
this was
dumb.
This was really the first one that felt like a little bit unnecessary.
It was a stretch.
For me.
It was.
That's all I had. I don't know no good, bad, and jugglies.
No, none. And just, I will say the speech was cool. I think isolated somewhere else, it would have been much better. But
yeah, no, and these people, I mean, they haven't heard her 9 other speeches.
That's true. That's a good point.
I'm
they didn't hear. And they probably didn't hear this one.
That's true. But you know what? People will never do you dirty like that. You can find us right here every weekday, talking Game of Thrones, talking some scones. Speaking of Jeremy, I believe that you brought to the round table today the scone.
Yeah, maple walnut from this place in Gallipolis, Ohio. Tender Fluff Donuts. Weird name.
Tender Fluff Donuts is a sex shop.
It's a sex shop, right? It's tender and fluffy.
Not every time Jeremy goes, he walks out with a donut. He's like, these things are so. Jeremy's eating a donut in the shop, and the guy just goes, "You're not supposed to eat those."
Those are rectal lube. What?
On his way out the store, they like hand him like a business card, and then like just a card that says just like 911 on it, and they're like, they usually say 4 hours, but with your dosage, if that thing lasts for like 12 minutes, you might want to get it checked. Each donut sprinkle was a full 50 milligram Viagra.
What's with all these blue pills all over this scone? Do I crush them? Oh no, you take them as. Yeah, it was pretty good. I'm not a big maple glaze fan because I feel like maple is such a strong flavor. It really just becomes like a maple glaze that I'm eating, right? It just overwhelmed this.
Well, riveting conversation, Jeremy. Unfortunately, the timing of our episode, because of all that, of all our very intricate DC Universe work, is just kind of closing out. I'd say we'll probably clock it here, the unofficial count, at 20% Thrones, about 40% DCU, and then the other 40% sticking strong with the scones there. I believe. And you can find probably just as nonsensical an equation tomorrow when we'll be back for season 6, episode 7, The Broken Man. In the meantime, hit up thronesandScones.com and ask yourself this question, and ideally answer it as well. You down with GOT?
You know me.
Our email, is it thronesandScones at Gmail?
It is Thrones and Scones.
Not in Scones, right?
Not
No,
in Scones.
Okay, yeah. I got actually asked that today, and I was like, truthfully, send an email to both. I have no idea.
Yeah, I could have just made the Thrones and Scones like I did with everything else.
Yeah.
And just have it forward to it, but I didn't.
They just gotta. Really, the problem would have been solved if they just would have let us ampersand in some of these things. Yeah.
All of it would have been a problem. But would have been solved. Although I like the fact that we have both websites. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And then
Honestly, it would be more awkward to specify Thrones and percent Scones.
I kind of like it.
Yeah. No one would forget it.
No.
You would never get it confused with the other one. It's like, oh, what was it? Was it Thrones Scone? That doesn't sound right at all. They'd still mess it up. I wish we could have used emojis in our web address. Like, what emojis would you guys want in there? Like, Thrones, dancing ginger scones.
Some ginger.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be good.
With a little grass symbol next to it.
I don't emoji much.
Can you guys go into your phones right now and go into your messages? And when you open up your emojis, you should be able to see like your recently used ones. And I'm only curious about the ones that aren't faces.
So then go into my messages. So do I just like an old man trying to figure?
Click in where the cursor is, like you're gonna type out a message to your granddaughter to wish her a happy birthday 3.5 years late.
Where do I put the stamp?
If you have the stamp emoji, I'm gonna be very happy.
Okay, so I don't think I have anything that tells me my most recent. Oh no, I do. All right.
Look like a little clock.
Okay. Do you want to know what my most two recent emojis are?
Yeah, of course.
It is the pointer finger. It's the pointer finger, and then the OK symbol.
Of course it is.
And then my third most used after that is the fist.
Is the fist and the OK symbol?
Do you recall who these were sent to?
No.
I hope it's apparent.
I have the high five and the thumbs up. Those are mine.
High five and thumbs up.
Yep.
That made me feel younger.
High five.
High five, man. High five. The only ones that I have that aren't faces, I do use the faces. The faces, I catch myself using them a lot. So the only one here out of 15 that is not faces is a piece of pumpkin pie and a stack of pancakes.
Nice.
Of
Yeah,
course.
I have a lot of faces. I don't use many of the other stuff.
And the only face on here, again, is taken in context, that I have the OK symbol, the pointer finger, the fist, and then the only face is like the terrified face.
Yeah, the one that's like screamed like this. Yeah.
Just like the very concerned face. Okay. But anyway, I think we should go back to these. We should talk about these colon scones. That Tony just brought up.
I mean, we're running out of flavors.
I'm interested.
Just be honest.
I'm intrigued.
I think we also might be running like a record right now for not having blueberry scones. I'm running through my notes. I think the last blueberry scone was seen on season 5, episode 2. We've gone beyond a whole season.
I don't have any
Without
blueberry
one.
scones for the next 3 of mine.
Impressive.
You do?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
I also don't.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't know. I haven't.
I feel like our last
I go
scone has to be
ep by ep.
blueberry. As a signing off.
Or colon.
Or cold.
You know when? So let me tell you guys a little bit about our favorite Game of Thrones character, Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran, a couple years back now, when he came out with his most recent album, Divide, cult classic, you should pick it up in stores now. He released 2 promotional images with 2 songs before the album was officially announced. And I know that you guys know this, big Ed Sheeran fans, but Ed has been on a train naming his albums after mathematical symbols. So first we had plus, and then we had multiply. And then we're like, whew, is he going to round out the 4? What's next? Subtract or divide? What's it going to be, Ed? And the first promotional image that came out was just a dash, and it said Castle on the Hill. And the second promotional image that came out was the other half of the division symbol, and it said Shape of You. So everyone jumped on the bandwagon. They're like, okay, he's going to combine. It's going to be divide. That's the album. But I was like, no, you know what? I know my boy Ed. We're about to get a double album, Subtract and colon from Ed Sheeran. And alas, one of the very few instances in my life I was not correct.
No, it's a bummer. And anyway, just last note, any producers out there trying to make a Flash movie? I know, actually, there is the Flash movie already supposedly being made with Ezra Miller. But if that gets canceled, other producers trying to make a Flash movie, give a call out to Michael Rosenbaum. I'm telling you, he's got the goods.
So he's from the original Justice League cartoon, or not the OG one, but the popular one.
Yes, from the animated Justice League, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite scene of the Flash in the animated Justice League is, I don't even remember the context, but somehow Lex Luthor gets into like the Flash's body or something.
Okay.
So like it's his consciousness gets into it, and I don't remember what happens. All I remember him is going like it's like, well, at least I can figure out the Flash's secret identity. And he takes the mask off and he goes, I have no idea who this person is. It's great. Great show, by the way.
Excellent
holds up.
show. Excellent. It still holds up. I watched it like this year.
Yeah. Are you a Young Justice fan?
I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't watched that.
First 2 seasons of Young Justice I really liked. I guess they're doing a third one. What any other? I was on a train there for a moment of watching like superhero cartoons on Netflix because there were like 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
You guys have other favorites or any other ones that you've watched?
The only one I really even watch or keep up with, I guess, is Justice League. If I'm pulling from as an adult, if I'm pulling from a kid, that animated X-Men is fantastic.
Yeah, that doesn't hold up as well.
I'm sure it doesn't.
As well,
from an animation perspective.
I'm sure it don't. But I mean, the animated Batman that stemmed the animated Justice League is also very good.
Hell yeah. Both the Ultimate and I don't even remember the other one. Sorry. The 2 really popular Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, are both good.
I loved.
Yeah, I watched the one. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. The one that I was a kid is like the one where the Spider-Man actually had to put like the cartridges in and all that stuff. That was the one, not the NPH one, which came later, where Neil Patrick Harris is the voice of Spider-Man.
What?
Yeah, that's the one after that one, and I did not watch that one. I don't know that one. That's like
I didn't know that Neil Patrick Harris was Spider-Man.
Yeah, this was like very the animation is totally different. I think it's even like computer or like CG animated or something. I can't remember. There's something about it that was very different than the other ones. It just had a totally different art style. I didn't watch it though.
Yeah, I never knew. I think Drake Bell is the current animated Spider-Man voice.
I'm not sure.
But there was a Doctor Strange animated movie that I saw on Netflix.
Yeah, did you watch it? Was it good?
Yeah, I watched it. Well, first of all, I was like, this is like, is this old? I'm sure they're not making a new, but it is pretty new. It's like a couple years old, something like that. Maybe 3 or 4 tops. And so I'm like, wow. All right, I'll watch it. It's like the fucking plot of the movie. Like, or it's an hour, maybe. Origin story. The first half of the movie is relatively the same. It's a cartoon, so it gets a little bit more magic-y and out there, but for the most part, it's the same movie, and I don't really know why they made it.
I've heard some
Doctor Strange quite a bit. I thought the movie was really good. So
the animated one?
No. The live action.
Yeah, I thought it was. I enjoyed it.
I'm excited for another one actually. So.
Hell yeah. He's dead, so
some of these, some of these animated movies apparently are supposed to be like phenomenal. So I know The Killing Joke is supposed to be good.
That's
and I know
really
the
good.
Red Hood one is supposed to be good. Under the Red Hood, I think it's called. It's supposed to be fantastic. Haven't seen either one.
Fantastic. And Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I do want to see that.
It's really good.
Great as well.
Great.
It's a great I want a Scottish Spider-Man next. Oh, me. Slinging me webs all over the place. Oh, great power, great responsibility. Do you, Mary Jane, I'd hang upside down to kiss ya, but my spider kill could reveal the goods. My spinner, my web. I don't know much about spider anatomy. Also, do they have a separate spinning hole, or is it just their butthole that the web comes out of?
I don't know.
Do spiders poop?
You should return your medical degrees.
Or do they just throw up?
I don't know. These are the questions I was hoping you would answer me. We're going to have to see if we can get that kid, Robert Irwin, who loves to talk with Jimmy Fallon, on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Or his sister.
They're
both apparently on the show. They got their own show.
Really, any Irwin, I'd take.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, I think that's the mom's name.
I don't know. Ideally, Steve.
Yeah, we could even try to seance in Steve Irwin. Would you guys feel comfortable Ouija boarding in via Skype?
Ouija?